Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Okay, boys, let's start. Pathogens cause disease. Figure 2.1 shows some cells that are part of the human immune system. These cells are responding to one type of pathogen. Now, boys, they have shown two types of white blood cells. Now, who will tell me which one is lymphocyte and which one is phagocyte? And also tell me the reason as well.
Sir, R is phagocyte
Okay.
and the other one is lymphocyte.
Very good. What is the reason?
Sir, lymphocytes, they eat the pathogens, they digest or eat the pathogens
No,
by,
how can you tell by looking at them?
sir, because R is eating a pathogen.
That is, let's suppose if this part is not shown over here, eating the pathogen,
Then
then
sir, the nucleus is, mm, there is not a proper nucleus.
this is not the answer. Listen, boys, everyone. S is lymphocyte and R is phagocyte. But the reason I told you guys that how to differentiate that which one is lymphocyte and which one is phagocyte, what you see that the lymphocyte will always have a normal shaped nucleus. The lymphocyte will always have a normal shaped nucleus, right boys? And on this normal shaped nucleus, it will be a larger in size. Understand everyone? While the phagocytes, they have lobe shaped nucleus or irregular shaped nucleus. Understand? The phagocytes, they have lobe shape or irregular shaped nucleus. Remember this, okay? I have told you guys this thing before as well. Understand everyone?
Yes, sir.
All right. Numbers question is explain how the immune system responds to an invasion of pathogens. Now use the letters in figure 2.1 in your answer. Right, guys? Now, who will answer this question? Please read the statement first and then answer this question. Statement is explain how the immune system responds to an invasion of pathogens. Use letters in figure 2.1 in your answer. Yes, boys. Anyone? Anyone? It's not difficult, boys. Okay. Let me explain this to you guys. What you will write that now look here, it's written use the letters in figure 2.1 in your answer. So what you will mention that the Q is a pathogen that enters inside the body. Now Q pathogen contains or have antigens on its surface. Next thing what you will say that S is a lymphocyte. S lymphocyte recognizes the Q pathogen on the basis of its antigens. Then S lymphocyte produces T antibodies. then what you will tell that the T antibodies, they attach to the Q pathogens and make the pathogens harmless. Then our phagocyte eats or engulfs the pathogen and destroys it. Tell me, why is it difficult or easy?
Easy, sir.
Right? So simply you just have to tell the story which we have learned several times, right? Just the difference is that you have to use these letters which they have given to all these components of the immune system. All right. Okay, was next question. A vaccine was introduced in 1942 for a particular disease. Figure 2.2 shows the effect of introducing the vaccine on the number of cases of the disease in one country. Now, guys, look here. This is the time when the vaccine is introduced. This is 1942, right? Now, in 1946, the government of the country concluded that the vaccine was successful. 1942, the vaccine was introduced, and in 1946, the government has concluded that the vaccine is successful. Discuss the evidence shown in figure 2.2 for and against this conclusion. Yes, boys, what are in favor and what are against this conclusion of the government that this is successful, this vaccine is successful? Anyone, boys? Just look at the graph and try to answer the question.
So can I tell one point?
Yes, sure.
It decreased the cases of disease per million people over the years.
Very good answer. Any other point? Okay, boys. Now listen. First point in favor. Look here. Before vaccination was given, the number of cases were 220 million. Do you see that? But after the introduction of the vaccine over here, the number of cases, they decreased to only 148 million. Can you guys see that the number of cases, you see, there is, you see, from 1942 to 1946, the number of cases did increase, but the number of cases, they are still low as compared to pre-vaccine years. Understood, everyone, or not?
Understood, sir.
Right? So that the number of cases, they are less as compared to pre-vaccine, you see, years. Then next point, what you can tell, that the number of cases, they have also decreased over the year, and after 1974 there are no cases of the disease. Understand, everyone, that after 1974 there are no cases. So this was in favor. Now what is against? Now against is that even after the introduction of the vaccine, still the cases increased. Definitely the cases increased less, but still there is minor increase in the number of cases. Understand? Now, second point against this conclusion from the government is that, now boys, this is 1942 and this is 1974. Now, if you minus 1974 minus 1942, what will be the answer, boys? Anyone has calculator? 1974 minus 1942. How much?
32. 32.
Very good. So it took 32 years for the vaccine to eradicate the disease completely, right? So the government gave the conclusion too early, right? That is the against point, right? Understand?
Yes, sir.
So these are the points. So this was a 4 marks question. So this is what you can, this is how you can answer. Next question was, polio is a serious viral disease that can be fatal and that often leaves an infected person with permanent paralysis. The World Health Organization is using a vaccination campaign to try to eradicate polio. Now, let me tell you that what actually happens in the polio, that it is caused by a virus, and this polio virus, what does it do? That it attacks the spinal cord in the lower back. And when it attacks the spinal cord in the lower back, eventually what happens, that you see this spinal cord and its nerves which are going towards the legs, they are destroyed, they are damaged. So when they are destroyed or damaged, then what happens? Then the legs, they stop working and the total paralysis takes place. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, the polio has already been eradicated in most countries, but there are still some places where children are at risk from the disease. Now, boys, let me tell, I told you this thing before as well, that polio is eradicated from the whole world except Pakistan and Afghanistan. Only these two countries are left where you see these cases are existing. All right, boys. Now, polio vaccinations are normally given in two phases, a first vaccination and then a booster vaccination several weeks later. Now, what is a booster vaccination? Let me give you an example. That nowadays corona vaccine campaign is going on. Now, what do they say, that every person have to take 2 doses? Now, the first dose gives you immunity. Second dose is called as a booster dose because the second dose, it enhances the immune response. Understand, everyone? That you see, even the corona 2, you see, shots the person have to take. Now, the vaccine contains weakened polio viruses. Figure 4.1 shows the concentration of antibody in the blood of a baby after the first vaccination and after the booster vaccination. Now, boys, look here that there are two graphs. Look at this one and this one. This is the primary response and this is the secondary response. This is the response because in response to the first vaccination, and this is in response to the second vaccination. Now, question is, explain why there is delay between the time of the first administration of the vaccination and the first appearance of the polio antibodies in the blood. Now, if you see here at this graph, the first vaccine, you see, it was given on day 0 and it took 9 days for the antibody production to start. Right, boys? The question is why there is this delay? Can anyone answer this question, boys?
Sir, so like when it gets used up, so when the second response is given of antigen, so like it already has memory cells, memory lymphocyte cells.
No, no,
So,
question is why it
Yes,
has
sir.
taken 9 days to start the production of antibodies.
sir, because it
Because
hasn't
it took
recognized the
time to
pathogen, it took
recognize
time.
the virus.
Very good
Yes.
point. Because it takes time to recognize the virus. Any other point?
Sir, making antibodies also takes time.
Very good answer. Well done. Making antibodies also takes time. Okay, boys, listen to the complete answer. What you will tell that first of all, it will take time for the recognition of the pathogen. The lymphocytes, they will take time to recognize the pathogen. Second, then the lymphocytes, they will reproduce and increase in number. For in reproducing and increasing in number, they will take time. Next thing, that they will take time to make plasma cells and memory cells. It will take time to make plasma cells and memory cells. Next point, it will take time for the plasma cells to make the antibodies. Understood, everyone? So that is why there is this delay response. Another thing was that this time period, when there is this, you see, this time period where there is delay in production of antibodies or there is delay in the immune response, this time period is called as incubation period. What is this time period called? Incubation
Incubation.
period. All right, boys. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Describe two ways in which the secondary response differs from the primary response. What is different between the secondary response and the primary response, boys?
The primary
Sir,
response,
the
it took
primary
time to
response, it took time,
recognize
but
the
the secondary
virus.
response, because it has memory cells, it's instant and quick.
Very good. So first point, that the secondary response is immediate or instant. What is the second point, boys?
The secondary response has memory cells which
No,
recognized.
if what is the difference you see in the graphs?
There was
Sir,
no delay.
That
more
Sir,
is the
there is a
first
antibodies
more
are
point.
made.
concentration of antibody in the blood.
Very good answer. Second answer, that there is more concentration of antibodies. All right, boys. There is more concentration of antibodies. Very good, boys. All right, boys. So this worksheet is done, right? Do you guys have any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, boys. If you guys remember, I have taught you how to draw a graph. Do you remember this or not?
Yes, sir.
Anyone who will tell me what are the rules for drawing the graph?
Sir, you need to label the y and x axis.
Very good answer. You have to label the x and y axis. And I have told you that for labeling the x and y axis, you will get 1 mark, right? And another thing was, if you guys remember, I have taught you that if there is a table and you have to draw a graph of the table, if you see, let's suppose that there are 4 columns. The first column that you will choose for drawing, that will come on x-axis, and second column will come on y-axis. Do you guys remember this or not, boys?
Yes, sir.
Right? So the first column that will come on, you see, x-axis, and second column will come on y-axis. Next thing, boys, that I have taught you that you put a dot and you circle it. right? When you see, you will make a proper scale, and after that you will put a dot and then you will circle it, right boys?
Right,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And after that boys, what did we learn? That we will join the line, these will join these points with the help of a scale. Never use rough lines, right? You will use a scale to join these lines. Understand everyone?
Yes.
So boys, remember that in this exam, even graph making can come, right?
Okay, sir.
Another thing boys, if you guys remember that you see we have done so many end of chapter questions and also past paper questions as well. In the first term we also did, and now as well we have done, where you see there is a table, and in the table there are some, you see, columns, there are blank spaces, right? And we have to complete those spaces in the column. And how do we find what comes into those columns? You see, by just looking at the how the differences came on the first two or three, you see these, what do we say? You see rows, right? So you see, you see, if you will open, let me open the book and let me give you one example. I think so. I remember it was in enzymes chapter as well. Yeah, it was in, let me show you guys. Look here, like you see, all these are filled. This one is left. You have to do this one, right? So this is mean, right? So what you will do, you will count them all, divide by 3, and you will get the mean, right? So this, you see, so any kind of question you see, which are, you see, these kind of questions, they are called as alternative to practical questions, right? So they can also come. All right, boys?
Sure, but we'll also be given passive information, right?
You see, every information is given in this question. All the information is given in this question. So same kind of question will be there. It will not be like that. You see, you cannot solve it. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, boys. See you guys inshallah in next class. Take care and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Love you, sir.
Allah Hafiz.